So welcome everybody. Um, Namaste, and thank you for taking the time out to come and hear a little bit more about my Yoga Light program, which is the basics of online yoga therapy. And we've had a little bit of change in the curriculum. It still stands as being a very full curriculum. However, at this time, we're going to run it as an independent study rather than um, live online twice a week for 7 months, which is what we did for the last time. So I'm going to present it to you, and if you have concerns and questions and need clarification with this new format, please feel free to shoot me an email and let me know what your concerns and questions are. So I'm going to get started now and share the PowerPoint presentation. So welcome. This is the Online Basics of Yoga Therapy phone call. And my name is Paula Tepedino. I'm a certified International Association of Yoga Therapists and also a certified Kripalu yoga teacher, as well as a non-denominational minister. So I welcome you. So this course is a self-study, independent learning experience. And if you choose, you can study all 15 lesson plans, which I'll show you as soon as this presentation is over. Each lesson plan covers everything from the philosophy of yoga to how yoga therapy differs from yoga, the components of disease and how it starts and how yoga therapy helps, anatomy of the human nature. So knowing anatomy is very important in yoga therapy. Also the language of yoga, using the sounds like mantras and the bija sounds, anatomy and physiology, and also spiritual topics, karma and all the things that get in the way of us achieving our highest goals and our truest potentials of our nature. You'll also learn about the basics of Ayurveda and many, many yoga methodologies, from warming up to breathing to how to use some of the self-care tools, and becoming familiar with the primary illness models. We use 5 of them in this course. Each lesson has homework, assignments, and questions that you may choose to do or not to do, depending on your level of interest in the course. And I will be there by email to give you feedback on your homework and answer your questions. You'll also receive audio and visual learning aids that we used in the previous course, which will really supplement and maybe even clarify some of what you're reading. There'll be questions that other students had. You'll be learning from other students in terms of them guiding what a centering is or what a relaxation is. And the good thing about this course is you can study at your own pace. There won't be an assigned calendar so that we're going to start on this date and end on that date. You'll be studying at your own pace and choose to do it at your convenience. We may offer a one-day workshop locally. I'm in Pennsylvania. Some of you are in New Jersey and other states, but we'll figure that out when the time comes, and probably late spring 2018, if you've finished all 15 components and you would like to come to the one-day workshop, that is optional, and there will be another charge for that. So the costs for the program are $975 for all of the 15 lessons, the audio visual aids, time with me, or you might choose to just pick and choose and do per lesson. Maybe you just want to study certain things and not everything. And so there's a fee for that. The payments are going to be taken the old-fashioned way by check, and if I can figure it out, by PayPal. Also included will be a 40-minute video audio consult with me after you've completed each lesson. You and I will get on Zoom, which is where we are today, and I can go over and address any concerns or questions that you may have. There are optional textbooks included in the reading assignments in the back of every lesson. That cost of purchasing them is not included, but you're welcome to purchase them yourself. They're the kind of books that you will have for a really long time. So well worth it. And you can get lots of them used as well. So the course duration, to cover all of the lessons, if you decide to go that way, and to listen and watch all of the video and audio, you want to allow yourself between 6 and 10 months from the moment you start it to the moment you end it. Of course, you may choose to do it longer or shorter, but generally that's a nice pace. There is a lot of information to digest and to practice, so you don't want to feel rushed in any way. You can study what lessons interest you. That's up to you. It's entirely up to you. And you develop your own pace. So if you want to study 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day or 1 hour a month, I mean, all of that is up to you. So you'll have to be a little bit organized in order to have yourself accomplish your goal here. And all 15 lessons with the homework and the reading assignments and consult time with me, not including the 1 day in the spring, comes to about 95 hours of study that you will be doing on your own, more or less. Everybody studies at a different pace, but generally speaking, somewhere around that amount of hours. And you can use those hours as continuing education hours if you are already a yoga teacher or yoga therapist, or maybe you're a healthcare practitioner, a nurse or a massage therapist, and you need some continuing education hours. I will send you an email acknowledging completion of the lessons as you do them. So the benefits for taking this particular course is one that will give you continuing education for yourself as a yoga student or teacher. And you'll be learning in-depth information and methodologies that you probably have not learned elsewhere. With the information that you gain, you can help yourself in your own life and others that are close to you, family members and good friends. You can apply the hours to your continuing education requirements as a yoga teacher, therapist, or a healthcare practitioner, as I mentioned before. And most importantly, knowing more and practicing more gives us more confidence, whether we're teaching or whether we're studying it ourselves as a yoga student. Your physical, mental, and emotional life will improve because that's one of the benefits of yoga. And you may find yourself becoming more calm and peaceful and healthier, given all the information that you'll be learning and practicing. So that pretty much completes the PowerPoint, and the next step would be addressing any questions that you have. So given what you've just heard, maybe voicing at some point what your concerns are. Do you need clarification? Do you need more details? And if you're ready to roll, the next step would be to ask for an application, submit payment, and start downloading the lessons. So before I go, I wanted to share with you the details and the curriculum. So let me make this a little bit bigger for you. So we went over the costs and the options we went over. And this is a little bit of the overview of the curriculum. Now the lessons can build on one another, or you can take them individually. They're self-contained. So lesson 1 contains living philosophy, how to live a yoga philosophy, not just study about it. You'll learn a little bit about the history of yoga, the foundations of yoga therapy, why it's different than just yoga. Also learning a heart-centered perspective and heart-centered presentations and teaching. And we'll begin our study with how disease starts. Lesson 2 is focusing on understanding the language of yoga, which is Sanskrit. So you'll be practicing sounds, and with the audio aids, you'll be practicing and listening to the sounds from the recordings. We'll dive into the 8-limb path of yoga, which is philosophy, and we'll continue with the philosophy and studying the human primal nature through the gunas, that which makes us who we are. Lesson 3 continues to dive into the first limbs of Hatha Yoga, the yamas and the niyamas, effects of negativity in our mind and our actions, karma, and we'll talk a lot about the obstacles and mental fluctuations, how they affect us, and how we can achieve mastery over them. And then in lesson 4, we dive into the basics of Ayurveda, which contain the 5 elemental theory, the biological constitutional life energies called the doshas. You'll get to discover your own constitution. 6 tastes of Ayurveda, learning about how to include all those tastes in your meal planning. The rules for balancing our health, how yoga, therapy, and Ayurveda work together. And there'll be videos on the food practices, such as cutting vegetables and grinding spices. You'll learn about seasonal changes and how that affects us. You'll learn how to eat for your constitutional type, and you'll learn how to do self-care actions, such as oiling of the body. Lesson 5, we discover the 5 sheaths or koshas, which is considered anatomy, an energetic anatomy of the human being. We'll go over some treatment charts, and we'll get into the depth of self-care, which is defined as yoga kriyas, where you'll learn the benefits and how-to of gargling, tongue scraping, using the neti pot, eye wash, skin brush, bathing, smudging, moon awareness exercises, and oil massage. Lesson 6 will be bringing in asana and the use of it in yoga therapy. There'll be posture sheets where you see the posture, and it's defined in terms of how to use them for various ailments, and most importantly, how to use them for certain illnesses. You'll work with the asanas, learning how to work with them depending on the person's constitution, the dosha. And then you'll have fun practicing sense perception exercises to help build on one of the limbs called Pratyahara. Lesson 7 will dive into the breath work, pranayama, and how it's used in yoga therapy. There'll be breathing exercises that you may know already, Dirga, Nadi Sodhanam, Ujjayi, belly breathing, Shatali breathing, and Bhastrika. And there'll be an explanation of how to use them for different ailments and different doshas. And then we'll look at the 5 vayus, which is the anatomy of our respiration system. Lesson 8 are the inner practices of yoga, where we get into concentration and meditation and how to guide yourself and others in those practices, such as candle gazing, palming, mantra, focusing on the breath, hand mudras, and using mala beads for japa meditation. Lesson 9 is the art of relaxation using the posture of Shavasana. Learning how to guide Shavasana in yoga therapy depending on someone's condition and constitution. We'll go over the benefits of relaxation, and we'll study the brain a little bit in terms of the anatomy of the brain and how it works with relaxation. And learning a practice called Yoga Nidra, which is a deep relaxation guidance. Lesson 10 will continue to dive into the Yoga Nidra journey, which is deep relaxation, what it is, the benefits of it, how to guide it, and the steps and stages in it. Lesson 11 is understanding disease better, studying the 5 illness groups, studying the anatomy of the 5 illness groups, and there'll be additional PowerPoint presentations to clarify the lessons. Lesson 12, teaching each illness model. So there'll be a lesson plan for each of the illnesses so that you can carry them out for your own practice or maybe help someone in your family or someone that you know. Postmenopausal syndrome will be shown, irritable bowel syndrome, how to work with that, cancer, lymphedema, arthritis, aging, depression, trauma. And there'll be posture sheets, pictures, and lesson plans for each illness. Lesson 13 is more anatomy. It's the subtle anatomy called the chakra system, our energy bodies. And we'll be discussing the 7 models. Learning how to use the sound to balance them and to become aware of them. There will be audio files to help you with that as well. And using 7 hand gestures called mudras for each of the 7 chakras. You'll come out of this lesson with a really good understanding of how to open and balance your chakras with movement and breathing. And lesson 14 is using yoga therapy for post-traumatic stress syndrome, which is a particular ailment that is quite common these days. You'll learn about what it is, what are the types of it, what are the symptoms of it, the anatomy and science behind it, and what's going on at the energy levels. And the last one, lesson 15, will be how to create and design yoga therapy sessions in a private setting. There'll be information sheets on papers that you hand out to someone, intake forms and professional disclosure forms, and also a piece on compassionate languaging, how we speak as setting the tone for a heart-centered session. So, that completes our call for tonight. I know I've discussed a lot and said a lot, but you can play this back. I will be emailing it out to everyone, And please feel free to contact me at yoga2light@gmail.com, or feel free to give me a call at 917-703-0514, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions and help you decide if this is the course for you. So in closing, we'll bring our hands together in the Namaskara Mudra. Take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, let's Om. Om. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for coming, and I wish you a good evening.